Hello friends, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to discuss about web server, Apache web server. It is an open source software. So the people who are involved in backend development, or you are dealing with customer for any customer web application development, understanding this web server is very important part of your knowledge. And in this particular video we will cover all the basic knowledge that you need to understand your web server in a better way. So let's start. Our today's topic is Apache web server. So it is a part of web engineering. Generally we understand that server is a computer which is always on, and it is maybe a software, and it is connected to internet. And when someone is requesting, a client is requesting any data or a file, it sends that to that client server. Before starting our class, a little introduction about myself. My name is Narayan. I spent 12 years in software development industry as developer and project manager, and this course is about HTTP web server. Apache is an open source HTTP web server. It helps you in creating a web server on your operating system. It runs on Unix and Windows and Linux, and it was first launched in 1995. So it has been a long time, almost 25 years old, and still it is valuable for web development. Let us try to understand a little bit basic concept like what is URL or URI. So URL means Uniform Resource Locator. It is an address of your website. Generally we use a domain name for your website name. So it is actually, the domain name is actually the server name, and the URL path is the actual file path of where this file is located. So suppose you are hosting a particular HTML file on your server, then it is located in public_HTML folder, and inside that you are uploading the files. So what is a client? Client is generally a web server. Client is generally a web browser. So web browser request, when you type something on your address bar, it send a request through the URL, and this URL hits the web server, and web server send a response, and the server send this response as a status code. Generally server sends its response as a status code, like 200 means the page is available. If it is sending you a response like 404, that means the page is not available. So as a developer, you need clear understanding what is client. Clients is the web server of a user. What is server? Server is a software or a program that helps you in converting your URL into file path, and it sends response when you send a URL through your browser as an HTTP request. It sends a response. Okay, now we understand what is a server with a client and a URL. Now let us discuss a little bit about a host name and DNS. So in order to connect to a server, the client will first resolve the server name to an IP address. That means when you are typing a URL, your client web server will convert that URL into an IP address, and that IP address is generally your server IP address. And if your browser is connected to internet, then it will search the server on the internet, and thus the server software will send some response based on the request in this flow. In order to make your web server working, we need a software, and Apache plays that role. If you want to test your local server which is not connected to internet, you can edit a particular file. If you are using in Windows, then this particular file is located in this HTTP is located in Windows System 32 driver etc host. You will find this file here in this location, and the if it is just a testing, then you can set an IP address to this domain name. Suppose here is an example.com. so when you are typing www.example.com, it will redirect to this IP address, and this IP address is your local host. What is configuration directive? When a HTTP server is configured using a simple text file, you can add various type of directive on this HTTPd.conf file, which is located generally in this path, and you can add various type of directive there, like directory, VirtualHost, location, etc. You can also add some configuration file with certain directive that goes to .http that goes to .htaccess file. So the .htaccess file is primarily known for configuration of your website, and you can set various type of directives there. For checking any sort of issue regarding HTTP problem, Apache HTTP problem, you can check the error log, and the error log file contains some message relevant to Apache server issues. .htaccess file is useful for configuring certain behavior of your Apache HTTP server. For example, you can add a directive like rewrite engine on. Here is an example of an .htaccess file. Here the rewrite engine on, this is one directive, and the next directive is actually redirecting http://url to http://www URL. Then we set a 301 redirective to tell the search engine that this particular URL is permanently redirect or moved to the next URL. So this is very handy when you are moving a URL from one URL to another URL. During the migration of server, in case you are maintaining your server from one server to another, then you can tell your local computer to resolve to the new server. And even though you have not yet changed the DNS setting, then in that case you can access your new server using this HTTP request. Now let's talk about the virtual server. Virtual server is a feature of Apache web server that allows you to serve a number of different websites using a single web server. What does it mean? That means you can host many websites on your server, and when a user will type a particular URL, it will open a specific folder or a specific website. There are two types of Apache virtual host is possible. One is name-based virtual host and another is IP-based virtual host. So you need this configuration on httpd.conf/apache2 config file. You can find this particular file on your local host setting. So here I'm going to show you the setting of, for example, here this particular Apache 2 is installed, and you will find this inside the config folder, Apache etc config folder. Or you can directly open the software configs file from here. If you want to change a specific PHP version on your Apache server, then you can modify the mod PHP file. Mod PHP file is located in the config folder, and you can specify which particular PHP version you are going to use during a particular session. Okay, we have already discussed what is .http file. It provides the configuration. You can set various type of configuration on the basis of pre-directory basis. It is a file that is placed in a particular document directory, and the directive applies in this particular file is applicable for the directory and subdirectories. What is mod rewrite? Mod rewrite provides way to modify incoming URL request dynamically based on regular expression rule. This allows you to map arbitrary URL on your internet URL structure. In simple word, you can create a meaningful URL instead of using some symbols and question marks. Sometimes you can face this kind of issue, like your PHP code is showing the exact code instead of showing the output. In that case, you need to check your PHP INI setting and HTTPd.conf setting. You will find that there is a modules is in your etc/directory path. So you have to enable PHP there and it will solve the issue. So the solution is here. You can also check the error log to see if there is any other error. Interview question here. Do you need Apache server for running PHP? Answer is no, because PHP provides an inbuilt web server which can be launched using this particular command -s parameter and then set localhost. Then you can view a PHP page on your localhost colon 8000 port. What is the command prompt for starting your Apache server? Just change the directory to the Apache bin folder and then type HTTPd. Then you can open the localhost on your browser and you will see a message like it works, and that means your server is on using your command prompt. Another interview question. You are running a PHP application and generally Apache server redirect URL to index page. You want to redirect URL to the index.php page. In that case, you have to open your HTTPd.conf file. It is located in Apache /config HTTPd.conf file. You open this file using text editor, then change this particular direct module, and it will you can also save this file using your command line, save and update this file using your command line, and then the file will be redirected to the index.php file instead of index.html. How to install Apache HTTPd website on a Docker? First install Docker on your device, on your like in Windows operating system, then pull the official Apache HTTPd image from Docker Hub and copy the website into the Apache Docker image htdoc folder. Then build an image based on the updated Apache HTTPd Docker image. Then run your Dockerized Apache HTTP hosted website on port 80. Time to time you will need to restart your Apache server. If, for example, you are installing one new application and or you made some configuration change, in that case you can restart the Apache server using this step like start all program Apache and control Apache server menu option, or you can locate the you can do it using command prompt as well. So let's have a recap what we have learned today. First of all, what do you mean by Apache server? So Apache server is a open source HTTP server and it is used for hosting website. Simple. How can you check the version of an Apache server? Using the command httpd-v. What is the port of HTTP and HTTPS of Apache? Generally, the port for HTTP is 80 and the port for HTTPS is 443. Remember this is very important. Then how you will install Apache server on your Linux device. You can use the command for installing your Apache software on your Linux device. If you are using Debian, the command for installing Apache is this: apt-get install Apache 2. If you are using Ubuntu, you can find the command easily from the Google. Where to configure the directories of Apache server. You can configure using this following command. The command is like this: cd, change the directory, etc http, then type ls -l. What do you mean by a virtual server or virtual host? We have already discussed this. The virtual host contain the information regarding your website name, directory index, server admin, email, and the information about the error log. So what do you mean by Apache virtual hosting? When you host multiple websites on your server using Apache, then a single server can manage multiple IP address, and these IP addresses are your virtual hosting. Now, one of the most common interview question: how to start and stop Apache server. So you can use this following command in your bin folder using any terminal, like start : .apache etcl start and stop. These are the two commands. Remember this following response code. 200 means the server is okay. 404 means the file is not found. 403 means the server is trying to access the restricted file, and 503 is a server is busy. Another important interview question is: what is mod evasive? It is a module. It helps web server preventing web attack like DDoS. And if you are using these kind of jargons like DDoS, then definitely you will get another question like what is DDoS. So DDoS is the short form of distributed denial of services, a service, and it is a malicious attempt by hackers for using the resources from multiple locations, and it keeps your server busy and your site goes down. How can I disable directory indexing? You can use options index options -indexes in the respective directory, and for example option indexes, and then you can disable the directory access. What is the meaning of these three lines on your HTTPd.conf file? Here the readwrite conf is used, a built-in server variable called the request method, and this line would be read as for the HTTP request method option, and the third line is the rule sets the action and URL that his action should be applied to, and this line above would be read as the forbid access of all URL. And taken through this rule, you can understand that the forbid access of all URLs for the options request. Now a little bit of easy interview question relevant to Apache is, tell me the important configuration file name. So it is very simple. HTTPd.conf is the main configuration file used in Apache. What is OpenSSL and how it works? SSL certificate. OpenSSL is a all-round cryptography library that offers free open source free open source SSL or using TLS protocol. It was first released in 1998 and it is available for Windows, Linux and Mac operating system. So OpenSSLs allow user perform various SSL related tasks including CSR. CSRs mean certified signing request, and private key generation and SSL certificate installation. See, it is mostly used by developer when they want to make their local host HTTPs, that means secure. What is the difference between Apache web server and Apache Tomcat? Apache Web is an HTTP server to serve static content, whereas the Tomcat is a serverlet container to deploy JSP files. So you can always integrate Apache HTTP with the Tomcat. However, based on the requirement, you need to choose either one option. So if you need a proper web server, then Apache HTTP is good enough, and if you want to run JSP serverlet, then the Apache Tomcat is helpful. What are the major alternative of Apache server? Although Apache HTTP server is open source, there are other alternatives like Nginx and Microsoft IIS or Lightspeed. What is the major difference between Apache HTTP server and Nginx? Both are categorized as web server, but the major difference is INX is Nginx. The pronunciation is like INX is event-based web server, where Apache is the process-based web server. So INX is known for better performance than Apache. Apache supports a wide range of OS, where Nginx doesn't support OS like OpenVMS or IBM i. Apache has a large number of module integration and the backend application, whereas Nginx has a little less number of modules. How to restrict access by IPs? Then you can use the required directive and the module mod authorize core, and these mods are generally helpful for restricting the IP. Required directive within the directory helps you allow or deny access of resources. How to install Apache server on your Linux machine? You can use yum install httpd and then apt get install apache 2, then it will be installed on your Linux operating system. What is document root in Apache? or document root of Apache. Document root in Apache means it is located, it is the location of the web file or stored in the server, and the default, by default it is located in var/ww or var/ww html. What is alias directive? It is also known as the URL mapping. To use li directive, it is a part of mod underscore alias module of Apache, and the syntax is like this: alias slash images and then another directory path. So in the above directive means that the slash images URL prefix to this next the URL. So if a particular user is requesting an image from image folder, the Apache server will collect this will show this image from the next directory. Thank you guys for watching this video till now, and we have covered the major questions relevant to Apache server in this tutorial, and I think it is helpful for facing any interview question relevant to this. If you are going to learn web development like PHP programming and front-end development, then watch this channel and you will find some playlist helpful related to beginner level coder. And till then, in the next episode we'll discuss another topic. Thank you very much.